shout out to our sponsors that keep bringing an immaculate podcast to the people for free every week. You got to support the supporters that support the podcast in no particular order, but I'm just going alphabetical this week. We've got Angel Grove Toys and Collectibles, starting with the A. Angel Grove Toys and Collectibles. They are a passion project out of Melbourne that are the #1 toys and collectibles spot on the internet. Go to www.angelgrovecollectibles.com for throwing it up on the screen and stuff. angelgrovecollectibles.com, official Bam Presto partners. We've got Bruce Super Convenience, which is the #1 Aussie snack plug for confectionaries, chocolates, throw a drink at someone, chips, dips, left, right, centers, bro. Strategies when it comes to confectionery and snacks. Go to brucesuper.com.au, brucesuper.com.au, or follow them at brucesuperc for Bruce Super Convenience. Shipping around the whole Australia like FedEx. Then we've got the Burek brothers, the #1 Burek place in the whole world, 160 Bay Street in Rockdale. The Burek brothers, authentic Burek. Make sure you go and see them and mention Vlad. All of you guys that are on the sponsors, mention Vlad, all right? Because they've got to mention Vlad so they can stay as sponsors. Otherwise. So after that, we've got Orange Legal Group, the #1 one-stop shop for purchasing, selling real estate, getting your taxes done and getting mortgages done down in Essendon, Melbourne. Orange Legal Group. Go to www.orangelegalgroup.com.au. And also, finally, as strong as ever, Svet and the crew down at Visual Energy Signs. They're servicing the whole Wollongong, Sydney and Southern Highlands area when it comes to shop front signs, car stickers, printer, laser print cards, this, that. I know this is all off the top of my dome, bro. So, as I said, the longer versions of the ads are on the audio podcast. For now, just giving them a quick wrap. Support the supporters that support the podcast. All right, Geoff, how are you, bro? Thanks for coming
good,
on.
mate. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolute pleasure, bro. I've been following you for a little bit of time, and I thought that it's a good idea to get you on the podcast, even if it's virtually during this catastrophe time in our world where we can't really meet up very much comfortably anymore. So I thought at least get the people that listen to the podcast to get to meet you. So do you want to just give a short intro of who you are, bro? So you
Sure, mate. Yeah, my background, done a bunch of businesses, had a bit of success over the years. I did fitness centers and weight loss products and fast moving consumer goods, all sorts of stuff. Made heaps of money, went broke, fucked it up, lost it all, ended up in AA, wanted to neck myself, came good, got 2 dogs, ride horses. Now life's awesome. There's the cliff notes.
Wow. So, all right, let's go back to the start. When did you want to kind of become an entrepreneur?
Well, I wasn't even really a plan. It just happened. I think I was always instinctively very, very good at sales. It wasn't trained. And it wasn't until years later that I looked at training, and I had this is at Vision Personal Training, which was the franchise group I started with a mate of mine 20 plus years ago. Fuck, time flies. And like, then we got a sales person in there to look at what we were doing, and he more or less said, you're already doing all the stuff. But I was unconsciously competent. So that was just a thing I could do. And that really helped me, as you know, in sales and marketing and writing advertising copy with BodyTrim, which was a weight loss brand I created after Vision. And then nowadays that's been awesome, because I now am consciously competent, and I can look back at all the things I did and see the process and the sequence and the layering and all these things that I didn't really see at the time. I just did. So then I kind of fell into consulting and coaching and speaking, and it's worked out awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Do you reckon that you were just gifted with the gift of the gabber?
Mate, oh yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, I could. I was always good at that. I was good at chatting to. I liked people. Like, so when I started my own personal training, my little business before Vision, I remember I started. I put a little sign up on the wall: Geoff's Unique Physiques, mate. Humble beginnings. It was, like, and yeah, and I remember I put the sign up, and I was working on the gym floor at Club Physical Sylvania, and like literally hand on heart, like 3 people that night said, oh mate, I saw your sign. I'll start with you. We'll start next week. and they didn't even ask me how much, and it stayed with me forever because like I was in shape. So I was a product of the product.
Shredded.
Trained. I wasn't shredded. No, I trained and I looked good, but I wasn't like, next level. But what I was very, very good at making friends without an agenda. So everyone in that gym I knew, and they knew me, and we got on, and I never asked for anything, and I cared about them, which was really textbook AAA grade sales. Without even knowing it, I just liked people. I had an interest in them and their training and whatnot in their life. And then when I started a personal training business, they're like, oh, fuck, I'll train with you. And then, that's textbook. And that's what I coach real estate people. I say, be top of mind, not a pest. Like you've got to have less agenda at the top of the sales funnel. Like a lot of people will, they'll make phone calls. Oh, you want to sell your joint? Like, no, fuck off. I didn't ask you to call me. B, you're interrupting me. And C, you're a pest. So when you do it a different way, a more sophisticated way, and you understand sequencing of dialogue, it's a game changer. And you go from a salesman to an advisor. But there's people have to understand the psychology behind it. Like sales, in my opinion, is a dirty word, and it doesn't do it justice because there's so much more to the process than if you're really good, you're never selling, you're advising. They're coming to you. So it's very different.
Yeah. And so it wasn't just about like wrapping cash. You weren't just trying to make cash.
No, mate. With the fitness, it wasn't even about in the early. It wasn't about that at all. It was I liked I was like a skinny kid at school, and so I started doing weights when I was 16 in the garage. I loved it.
So you can pick up chicks or.
Well, yeah, probably to just confidence, really. Like I went to an all boys school and just, skinny little fella, and just that I'll, get into some weights and maybe self-esteem, confidence, really deep down. And yeah, it didn't hurt with the girls, mate, a bit later on. Let me give you the tip. So that definitely.
I love that. I love it.
They don't hate it. Yeah, that's for sure. So I got into that but then that became a bit of an addiction as well. And you go from looking good to getting too big, but that's another story. But I loved how it changed me in terms of my confidence. And then, I thought I want to help other people do that. And that's why I started personal training. I did a sports science degree. And then with personal training, most people wanted to lose weight, but it was the same thing. I was skinny. I wanted to build muscle. They were overweight. They wanted to trim down. It was the same sort of feeling that they were going for. So that's why I started. And then over time, I learned more I knew nothing about business. My parents were school teachers and I had no business acumen background, anything. And so I just dead set winged it, and away we went.
Right. And then after, how old were you when you started Vision?
22. Yeah, 22.
Did you do it by yourself? Like, was that your own?
It was me and a mate of mine, Andrew Simmons. He's still the franchisor of Vision PT. And so he was 5 years older. He was 27. I was 22. We teamed up, and he was very good at sort of back office stuff, systems, processes. I was very good front of house, sales, marketing, growth. And we just ramped up. It was really good.
Was it you that came up with bringing the treadmill or the bikes outside onto the main roads to advertise?
No, I was long gone. I think that must have been him or someone. Yeah, within that. Yeah, definitely to get them on the street to get some sort of something going on and a bit of a promo. No, that was not long after me, but yeah.
So before you said that you went spiraling up into business, made cash, then you lost cash, and you ended up in what, Alcoholics Anonymous?
Mate, AA, NA, all of them. I gave them all the game.
How old were you when that happened?
Oh, that was I've been sober now for nearly 5 years, and that was like
nothing. Like you haven't even had one craft beer?
No.
Not a droplet of anything.
Finished, mate. Changed my life. No, I got lost. I call it the disease of more. Or I was just that. Vision was pumping, and I thought, this is boring. I've had enough. I got bored. I need something bigger.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't enough. So I went and did BodyTrim, and that, in the first year we did 10 million. Second year we did 25. Third year we did 40 million. like we kept growing and $100 million in sales revenue in 5 years. That did.
Was that Australian or did you go around the world? Like,
no, we did Australia, New Zealand, an office in the UK, and we did a little bit in America. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
BodyTrim. Is that still going?
It was Vitaco bought it, and it was still in Coles and Woolies, but nothing like it was when, you know.
What is it? A drink?
Well, it started out as an education program. It was a training system for weight loss. So it was me on like 6 DVDs and a book, you know, like a shoebox that they got delivered. It was a mail order, direct to consumer information product. And then after about 2 years, we had maybe 200,000 people on the database, and we brought out a protein shake and then protein bars, cookies, balls. We then went into pharmacy and then ultimately into grocery with that. Yeah.
Right. So when you were doing that, you got bored of vision, you started BodyTrim, you wanted to continue. And then that, even though you're doing 100 mil, 40, 50 mil, 100 mil, that started getting boring. So what, you just started getting on the turps and spending cash and going off the rails?
Yeah, huh? Mate, it was just the complete, it was like, you know, Wolf of Wall Street sort of thing. I remember that movie came out and mate, it was plenty of those scenes. You could have whacked me in them, and it was wild. It was, you know, I'm not proud of it. Like, there's some funny at all, but there's some funny stories that, you know, from back in the day. But mate, it was soulless. You know, it didn't matter what I did. Like, there was just no joy in my life, right? I might have been excited, but there was no joy, or there was no happiness. There was no like fulfillment. And I kind of went from, you know, helping everyone lose weight to just build like, it was kind of just more money and more growth and more stuff and all that. And it just really triggered the ego, and that just went crazy. And then came the drinking and the drugging and the partying, and then it was just game over. But I say to everyone, it was the best thing that ever happened, because I wouldn't have got the lessons without the big fuck up and like the ground zero, rock bottom, because I wouldn't have learned. And then along the way, I got 2 little dogs, and mate, they saved my life. I would have been probably brown bread otherwise. And
right,
I kept going.
And what is brown bread? What's that?
Oh, dead. Brown bread, dead. Yeah. And a bit of Aussie rhyming slang for you.
Yeah, drop them in there, because most of the audience here are like as wog as it gets. So drop in the slang, you know.
Translate a bit of the slang, but look, it is, people find that hard to believe that. Again, it was like the best thing that ever happened, but it really was, because again, now things are great financially. Like, you know, work's really good. I got great clients. I'm, you know, pretty much full all the time, but I've got a life, mate. That's the big difference. Like, I've got 2 horses, 2 dogs. Fuck, I never had a life. I was retarded at life, right? My life admin was non-existent. I had no balance. I just never had a hobby, nothing. And like holidays or long weekends would roll around, I'd almost have a panic attack because I didn't know what to do. Like, it was just because it was just work, stop. And then if I stopped, I'd cave my head in, so I'd get on the piss, and it was out of control. And now, fuck, I can't fit the stuff in on a long weekend. You know, I play golf, I got horses, and the horses are the love of my life, like that. But I picked that up at 40, for God's sake, with zero background. Like that's random in itself, but I was at a farm. Boxing Day, there were horses, and I went, fuck, how good is this? I went and got a lesson, and the rest is history. So, you know, it doesn't matter how old someone is, your life can turn around really fast when you just make necessary changes.
Do you recommend, for people that are out there that are doing a bit of business and dabbling in the devil's dandruff, smoking spliffs like Snoop Dogg, and, you know, going to the Ivy Pool and spending $3,000 a night, do you recommend they go down the path that you went and destroy yourself, and then you can get horses and be peaceful and stuff? Or do you reckon just don't go that far?
Well, mate,
take your advice.
Well, I say to people all the time, hopefully I made the mistake so you don't have to.
Yeah, good advice.
Like, I've seen over the hill. So feel free to keep going, but it's a fucking disaster. So
it's not
I've
easy.
made it. So I've made, and I think I didn't plan to be a coach or a consultant or a speaker, right? I did it. It's not, I did it. I built it. I did it. I lived it. So it's not theory or hypotheticals. So I think it puts me in a bit of a unique situation. I made big money. I fucked it up. I did it again. Like, it's not guessing and hypotheticals. And I think people, I've got some incredibly successful high net worth clients, and they've said to me point blank, mate, there's no way I would have got you if you hadn't done it, because I need someone who's done it, who's seen it, who's seen and lived what I haven't, to show me the way and avoid, and a lot of my stuff strategy, like how to grow, because I scaled successfully multiple times, and scaling businesses until you do it is almost impossible, because it's counterintuitive, and small business owners by definition are workaholics and perfectionists generally, so they can't delegate. And if they do, they don't know how, and then it fucks up. And then they think, no, I knew I couldn't. I have to do it. And they stay small forever. And learning how to get out of that and get unstuck. And that's really fun for me, because you just watch businesses just explode. But I look at young Jack Henderson. He said to me a year ago, what's the number one tip for an entrepreneur? And I said, get off the piss for a year. Right. And mate, credit, he did. He went from like 3 staff to 30 and just exploded his buyer's agency, and people, full credit to him. But those things, I'm not saying everyone should get off the piss, but if you're proper loose, then it's a good idea. If someone who can have 2 beers and go home, you don't need to get off the piss. I don't think I had 2 beers ever. I couldn't understand the concept of 2 beers. Like, it put me to sleep.
Yeah, it sounds like you're quite competitive versus yourself even. And that kind of shit is like amateur hour for you. Like, I think I'm an extreme, right? So if I'm going to I want to learn, I just go in, right? Now, I've learned how to balance it with ratios, and so I don't, try and make the equestrian Olympics or something, everything I do, I can just be right, bang. And I just like, full obsession. I used to be a bit OCD sort of thing. Yeah, but that's what made you be able to reach high levels with business, and now shredded, horses. Yeah.
I think, and then I've said that with Johnny McGrath, and I've talked about that quite a bit, about like that dysfunction to get something going, but you've got a segue, right? That gets you out of inertia into momentum, but it destroys you if you don't evolve, because it gets you going, but it's not sustainable. You just implode like I did. And now, like I talk about hobbies, purpose, love, and I make all my clients get a hobby. Like, some of them I'm like, they got to go and get a golf lesson this week, because it gives you perspective. People think I don't have time. Mate, you got to have time, because you're going to make more money when you do it, because you're going to have perspective. You're not going to overthink. You're not going to trigger. You're not going to give someone a spray or eat a hand grenade, like I call it. Right. Every time you eat a hand grenade, you got to fucking mop up the mess. So if you don't eat them, you don't have to mop it up. And but again, it's counterintuitive, because we think I've got to work harder and harder, but not if you're not effective.
Yeah, that's right. So these people in America, like Gary Canavy and, that guy Grant Calzone, like what do you say about those guys that all day they just preach hustle, cash, private jets? Yeah. Like, they're just trying to make some cash, or do you reckon that's a good ideology to have?
I think it's fucked, dangerous, is my opinion, mate. Just to cover that off, I think it's so dangerous. I think it's so empty, having been there and done it. And I think if people emulate that, it's a brutal road. And I think you make more money doing it a different way. I see it in my clients all the time. Like, again, not theory, it's happening, because that you get to a point. I remember I used to live out there in Woolloomooloo Wharf, and I was out there one morning, and I'm like, fucking, I'm just flat, and what's it all about? And I had everything I wanted in it and more, like on paper. But I just was empty. And you got to get the joy. Like, you need joy in your life, not just achievements, right? And most people don't have joy, and joy is free, like my dogs and my horses and just life. Yeah. I just missed it all. So unless it was, hanging from the chandeliers.
Right. Now, do you do like the meditations, yogas? Are you in that kind of a zone now, or do you reckon?
No, not, mate. I sort of dabbled. I found that animals, for me, I say to people, take your medicine every day. Now, if that's your medicine, take it. Mine is animals. Like, they're my doorway to presence and being, gratitude. Like, I just get around them, and because they're not in their head, they're not fucking. No. The dogs aren't thinking about yesterday's run at the park and what happened to me stick that you threw away, right? But so they're like the best teachers of that.
So you reckon that they helped you by accident? Just
1,000,000%, mate. 1 million.
Wow.
Yeah. I just, their energy and just that. I just found peace with that. that I'd never had before. The head noise went down. Same with horses. And you can't bullshit animals. You know, they can't understand your words. It's your actions. That's why I love them. There's no bullshit.
Yeah, that's
you know,
right.
and you earn their trust with horses and dogs. You earn their trust. You can't buy it. You got to earn it. So there's an integrity to it that I absolutely love.
Yeah, you can't demand people to respect you in real life either. You know, that's earned as well. These days, a lot of people, they're demanding respect in that in the culture that is the internet. It's like, you got to apologize, you got to respect me, like even though you've done nothing for it. It's like that the young kids I've noticed, and I'm not saying everyone, but there is a bit more entitlement in the air than back in the day, a little bit more, you know.
Oh yeah, there is. And it's all like, because a lot of people define themselves by their net worth or their business or their brand, and that's a slippery slope as well, because that's fraught with a lot of danger. I did that. Like I say to people, human here now experiencing life. Because the funny thing is, I can't define myself by a business because I had a lot of them. So I'm not like the real estate guy or the weight loss guy, or because I did a lot of different businesses. And so that kind of, you know, that was good for me to realize that, well, you know, when I did Vision PT, most people had me in their phone as Geoff Vision. And then BodyTrim was like BodyTrim Geoff, or I was that guy.
Yeah.
But now I'm not any guy. I'm just me living and experiencing. And
so would you say you're a bit of a lone wolf now?
Yeah, mate, I am. I think someone said to me the other day, you're an extroverted introvert. Like, you know, obviously speaking and consulting and all of that comes naturally, but afterwards I just go and ride horses and just hang out there and do things like that. So it's really quite paradoxical how I thought I was an extrovert. I was just pissed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, that's kind of like me as well. Like the gladiators, all the people that follow that know that I like to go in the forest, run through the forest, and then lick rivers at the end to hydrate. Would you say that you do the same thing or similar? You love
Mate, yeah, they 100%. They energize, like that sort of stuff is my battery. It energizes me. It fills me up. And that's why I work until like about 11. And then I have a break until 2. And then I work again. I ride the horses in the middle of the day and then I work again. It fills me up again, fills up the tank, and then I go again.
And you're always fresh.
Fresh. That's right. I'm always sharp. That's like a standard. Don't be just half there. You got to be all there or not there, all there or not there. And that's how you build a business. You can't be like half pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. And a last question here. I know you got to go, bro. And what do you reckon is more important for the people that are listening out here? And a lot of them are young business people. A lot of people want to wear fake Rolexes and drive AMGs and the whole bit. What's more important, the end destination or just every day?
Mate, the end destination will be infinitely better if you fuck it off and you focus on today, because today's the building blocks, right? If you're building a house and you slap together each brick in a shitty way, the wall's going to be fucked. It's the same with the destination, right? Brick by brick, day by day, hour by hour. And because you can't not arrive better if it's day by day. Because if every day, like the better I am today, the better my life will be. But if today's a stepping stone or a means to an end, you ain't going to arrive anywhere good, because you're going to like half-ass it. You're going to do it with frustration and resentment. And that's the challenge with goal setting, because we want to be there so desperately, we forget to be where we are. So we never get there. Like we get better here and we always arrive. I look at that in all my clients and my life today, and versus how I used to live. And again, what the Grant Cardones and that talk about, and it's all about, you know, getting there. But that doesn't stack up for me anymore, because we're not better today.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. Now, well, I really appreciate you taking the time, bro. Your advice has been awesome.
Love all your videos, mate. It's edutainment. Edutainment.
That's right. Trying to stay edgy and give people strategies to success.
Gold. It's really
bro,
good.
Where can people find you? Business owners that follow me and stuff like that to get unstuck, like.
Yeah. Mate, just my Instagram. I brushed my website and everything just to keep it simple, just at Geoff Jowett Instagram.
I'll put that up on the screen. Geoff Jowett Instagram. All right. Thanks, Geoff. I appreciate your time, brother. You're an awesome man.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, brother. Pleasure.
See you later.